to Toronto indoor baseball here at Rogers Center. Big crowd on hand. Lots of kids in the house today. Blue Jays wrapping up their homestand, trying to make it 8 straight games. Take a look at the lineup for Dan Jennings, a manager of the Miami Marlins. At the top of the order, it's D. Gordon. He leads baseball with his .362 batting average. Right behind him is the veteran Martin Prado. He's got 11-game hit streak, 15 for 46 and 3 RBIs, batting third. And down in the cleanup spot, the red-hot Giancarlo Stanton. His last 10 games, he's got 8 home runs and 9 RBIs and an OPS nearly 1.5.
Lots of power in Stanton. Just 9 RBIs generated by those 8 home runs. Scott Copeland will get the start this afternoon. It was supposed to be Aaron Sanchez, but they will skip him in the turn. Scott Copeland comes up from AAA. There are his numbers. He was drafted by the Orioles originally in the 21st round in 2010. He came to the Blue Jays as a minor league free agent in July of 2012. This is his first career start in the major leagues.
Copeland made back-to-back appearances in Cleveland in relief. He's a strike thrower. Doesn't get himself into trouble. Here's the first pitch of the game, and wouldn't you know it, it's ball 1. We are underway. D. Gordon, we mentioned, he leads the major leagues with a .362 average. There's a strike. It's 1-1.
88 total hits for D. Gordon. He can spray the ball all over the ballpark, and he's starting to pick up the bunting aspect of his offensive game. He has got 6 bunt hits this season.
And Sanchez was scheduled to make this start, and he's got a little bit of problem with his arm, a little tired, a little fatigued, so they're going to skip him, and they're not going to push the rotation back. They're just skipping Sanchez's spot in the rotation. Hopefully he'll be ready to go.
Give him 5 more days, and right now scheduled for Tuesday in New York.
There's a strike. It's a full count to the leadoff man, D. Gordon. He goes around, chases that high fastball. Strikeout for Copeland. Let's take a look at the defense. A little different look in the outfield today. Ezequiel Carrera is in left, making his 6th start in left. Kevin Pillar, Jose Bautista in center and right. Josh Donaldson, Jose Reyes, Ryan Goins, and Justin Smoke. Russell Martin back behind the plate today for Scott Copeland.
And at shortstop, Jose Reyes was playing much better at shortstop. Lots of energy that he brings. Louis Rivera, the infield coach, wants him to slow down just a little bit, take his time. I think he has done that. He's been flawless in this series against the Marlins.
This is Martin Prado. He takes strike 1. Prado with that 11-game hit streak. Both of these pitchers are facing their opponent for the first time in their careers, so hitters might take a few more pitches to get an idea what they're dealing with. Prado pops it up right side. Goins, the second baseman, in foul territory. 2 down.
You know, if that's true what you were just saying, and I think it is, you'll see hitters try to work the count just a little bit more. Take that into consideration and just pound that strike zone. That's the type of pitcher Scott Copeland is. We've seen him a couple of times. Like you say, he was the 26th man on that doubleheader game that we played in Washington last week, but did not pitch in that game, went back down to the minor leagues.
This is Christian Yelich moving up into the 3rd spot this afternoon. Yelich hit a home run, one of 3 solo home runs the Marlins hit yesterday. Giancarlo Stanton hit 2, Yelich hit the other. At the bottom of the strike zone. Copeland last pitched on June 4th at Louisville for the Buffalo Bisons. He pitched 5 innings, allowed just 2 hits, and threw a season high 91 pitches.
Nice catch. Wow, we've seen that a couple of times here. Line drives right into the stands, and the fans catch it, save the fans around them. Bring your ball glove to the game. This might happen.
Yeah, he saved somebody. Possible not on the coconut. 3 up, 3 down. Good start for Scott Copeland. First major league start. First inning in the books. from his former Buffalo teammate for a good first inning. 8 more of those, Scott, and you'll be fine. Take a look at the starting lineup for the Blue Jays. Jose Reyes, boy, he has had some homestand. 8 for 21 with 4 ribbies. He's got a 17-game hit streak against the Marlins. How about Jose Bautista, boys? He's starting to heat up. His last 13 games, he's hit .375 and driven in a dozen runs. Bautista starting to look like the Bautista we've seen here for the last several years.
Drive in some big runs. That is the lineup that Tom Kohler will face this afternoon. There he is, the starter for the Miami Marlins. 12 games this year. This is his 5th straight start. He spent a little bit of time in the bullpen in the middle of this part of the season and is back into that starting rotation. 4-3 with his .372 earned run average. This is his first career appearance against the Blue Jays. Last time out, he tied a season high with 6 strikeouts against Colorado and winning that 4th game.
Reyes takes one up and away. Kohler has won 2 of his last 3 starts. Trying to salvage the final game of this 3-game series. Reyes lines it right to the first baseman. That's a couple of times he's done that in the last 2 games. Well, the Marlins on defense, they have committed a few errors in the majors. They can really catch it. It starts in the outfield with Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, and Ichiro Suzuki. On the infield, Martin Prado, the veteran at third. Great double play combination up the middle with Echeverria and Gordon. Justin Bour, second start of the series, and behind the plate, former Blue Jay Jeff Mathis.
And I'll tell you, we have watched Ichiro in right field for years, and he's still a pleasure to watch out there. He gets the start today in right field. He has won 10 Gold Gloves. He is one of 6 outfielders to win 10 Gold Gloves in the history of baseball. Clemente won 12, Mays won 12, Griffey, Andrew Jones, and Al Kaline also won 10. He's been a lot of fun to watch over the years.
He's been an elite player ever since he came to the majors in 2001. Here's an elite player right now, Josh Donaldson. Leads the majors with 49 runs scored. What an acquisition Donaldson has been for the Blue Jays.
Not just offensively, I think defensively he has been steady. His base running has been outstanding. He's been a leader with this club. He was jawing with the guys yesterday around the batting cage, and it was a lot of fun.
He has been in a winning situation in the past with Oakland, and certainly wants to bring that mentality to this organization. He and Russell Martin both have plenty of postseason experience. It's all about winning. Professional baseball. You're supposed to win championships.
These guys have done nothing but play playoff baseball the last few years.
2-2 to Donaldson. Breaking ball. Fouled off. Donaldson batting .314. That's the 6th best batting average in the American League. He is tied for 3rd with 16 home runs, and he's 2nd in RBIs with 43, 2 behind Mark Teixeira. Bautista will be next. Upstairs, full count. Up the middle, and there's no shift that can catch that. 1 out single. Jose Bautista will step to the plate. He's been red hot during this 7-game win streak.
Well, he's getting into one of those grooves, and it started in Washington when he started playing every day back into the outfield. He homered there, and then he homered back here at home. This is off of Colin McHugh. He can carry a ball club, just like Edwin Encarnacion. The 2 middle guys in that lineup can go deep at any time and put you ahead with those home runs. And we really haven't seen the hot Jose for a long time. Not like we have seen in the past. He and Edwin, if they start heating up, this offense is going to even be better.
Yeah, it's the best offense in baseball, and as a team, they're hitting .266. That's the 3rd highest average in the American League.
318 runs coming into this game. That leads Major League Baseball.
The Blue Jays, we mentioned, they're seeing Tom Kohler for the first time. You can look at video, you can watch his last start, but until you step in the box, you don't have a real good feel about what he's featuring. upstairs. Everything has been up for Kohler. Just trying to get the bottom part of the strike zone in play.
And that spells danger when you're facing a powerful team like the Blue Jays. He's got a pretty decent fastball. It's at the low 90s. Fastball looks pretty straight. Not a lot of life and a lot of movement to it. That's his bread and butter pitch right there.
Oh, Bautista couldn't believe that was a strike. Breaking ball off the plate, down and away.
Well, think about that one pitch. You can see it, that red 4 in the pitch tracks there off the plate. Instead of 3-1, Jose's now hitting 2-2.
Yeah, and you give a pitcher a few more options. Breaking ball up the middle. Echeverria to Gordon, back to first, double play. That's the difference in hitting 3-1 and 2-2. Bautista bounces into the inning-ending double play. One home runs, and we'll show you where those pitches were. Right out over the plate, kind of middle to Stanton.
Stan's about 6'6". He's got long arms, and you really want to crowd him, so the Blue Jays have kept the ball away from him, and this is what has happened. Marco Estrada with a fastball out over the plate, and it is hammered into the seats in right field. Mark Burley then looked like an off-speed pitch out and up over the plate. He puts that one into the bullpen, and then Roberto Osuna in the middle of the plate. He likes that ball out there, and he can leave any part of the ballpark. He's hit 9 home runs this year to left field, 8 to center, and 4 to right field. So Blue Jays might want to change the way they're starting to pitch to him, maybe crowd him.
Yeah, and we already know what he can do on that pitch out over the plate, so you might want to mix it up a bit. 8 home runs in his last 10 games, and Copeland throws a first pitch strike. Giancarlo Stanton wearing that face mask against right-handed pitchers. We didn't see it when he faced Burley, but he got hit last September 11th by a pitch ball from Mike Fiers of the Brewers. Ground ball to third. Donaldson throws him out. Stanton's retired. Marcell Ozuna will step in with 1 out. That is a physique right there, folks. Man.
What's that waist, about 32?
Reminds me a lot of myself when I was 19. Well, maybe not.
Wait a minute now. Time out.
Wow. 6'6", 245, big man. And a great athlete. Marcell Ozuna, 1 out. 10-game hit streak active for Ozuna. It's the 5th time he's had a hit streak of 10 or more games in his career. He's a good player.
Yeah, you want that consistency, and that tells me he's been a consistent player in his young career. 5 times he's had a hit streak of at least 10 games. This current one right now, he's hitting 385 in that 10-game hit streak.
Fouls that one back.
And he can play some defense. You know, there's one thing about the Miami Marlins that I think their future looks very bright. They're very strong up the middle. They got a great combination at shortstop, second baseman, and Echeverria and Gordon. You've got Ozuna in center field, and Real Muto, their catcher. I like that guy.
He's just 24 years old. He played the first 2 games of this series, and their backbone of defense is up the middle. Ozuna's just 24 years old. Bouncing ball to Hopper to Reyes. 5 straight retired by Copeland. Well, the Blue Jays hit 500 for the first time since May 12th, and they have moved up in the standings. They're 4 back of the front-running New York Yankees. The Yankees as well have won 7 in a row, and they're getting pretty good pitching, and they're going to get Ivan Nova back fairly soon.
Haven't been able to gain any ground on both Tampa Bay and New York over the last 10 games. Tampa has the same record as the Blue Jays over the last 10. And in fact, over the last 10, Blue Jays have lost a game in the standings to the Yankees. They've been 8-2 over their last 10.
You knew this division was going to tighten up.
Yeah.
This is Justin Moore, the first baseman. Hot shot. Donaldson standing right there. Great start to the ball game for Scott Copeland. 6 up, 6 down. Bottom of the 9, but Edwin Encarnacion turned things around with his 13th home run of the season.
He got a fastball, he got it out over the plate, and now he can get into that home run trot, but don't before, he's got to tell his mates, hey, don't hit me in that shoulder, it's been bothering me, so he lets them know to smack him in the head, but not in that shoulder. That was a huge win for the Blue Jays last night. And I don't know about you, Buck, but I just felt like you get into the 9th inning, it's a close ball game. You got the right guys coming up, the best hitters, the middle of the lineup. The way the Blue Jays have been playing, they feel like they're never out of a ball game.
No, and it's all about confidence, and that's the age-old argument. Which comes first, chemistry or wins?
Boy, that's a good one. How about chemistry helps you to win ball games, but you have to win first.
And that builds chemistry for sure. Bounced off home plate. Prado's going to get a tricky hop, and it goes past him. And Encarnacion, now he's got to get back to first. He made a move towards second, and he's got to hustle back. But you knew there was going to be some English on that baseball, and Prado knew it, tried to barehand it, and skipped right past it.
Why is it it's always the last bounce before it gets to the fielder where you get that crazy bounce? Watch this one. It's up in the air. Here comes Prado. He's going to try and barehand it. Watch it take a left-hand turn on him. Fair ball inside the line, and Edwin's got the base hit, and now watch, he sees it, and once he turns and faces the infield, he's got to hustle back to first base. That will be thought of as a move towards second base, so it's a live play.
And he's fair game once he makes that step towards second. This is the first baseman, Justin Smoak. Smoak's been productive, 3 homers and 15 RBIs. He's had just 82 at bats. He has been the best pinch hitter coming off the bench. He's 6 for 13 as a pinch hitter.
I think the Marlins have been looking at that tape also. They have been giving him tons of off-speed pitches. Just one right after another.
There's a drive, and this is going to be over Ichiro's head, and it bounces out of play. A ground rule double for Justin Smoak. Another double, and you saw Encarnacion reaching up for that left shoulder as he ran from first to third.
And another double for the Blue Jays. They also lead the major leagues in doubles. That's 128 now. Ringing double to right field. Two-seamer, and it doesn't sink. It stays over the middle of the plate, and after a couple of breaking balls, Justin Smoak's eyes light up when he sees this two-seamer stay up. Bounces out of play. Extra bases once again for the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays have 20 more doubles than the second team in the American League, the Kansas City Royals. That really puts pressure on a pitcher. Russell Martin chops it to third. Encarnacion's coming home, and it's a wild throw. Encarnacion scores. Martin's headed for second, and Kohler will not throw it. Boy, Edwin made a good call. He broke for home on that little chopper. Prado tried to cut him down at the plate, threw wide of home past Mathis.
Probably be an error on Prado. It's another one of those hoppers with some English on it, and the ball started curving towards the line, so Prado had to make a decision. Watch about Encarnacion. Initially, he doesn't go, but then reads it, and he is right in the line of that throw. Prado, he's got to make a decision. Do I try and field this, and what do I do with this? So he makes a decision to field it, and there's no throwing lane for him to make that play at the plate. One run will score on the error, and then Russell Martin recognizes that that ball is thrown away, so he gets into scoring position with a head-first slide into second.
They could get Martin an RBI on that, and they give him a base hit as well. It's an error on Prado that allows Martin to go to second. So the Blue Jays have an early 1-0 lead. RBI number 27 for Martin. Just the fifth error committed by Martin Prado at third.
And those are the kind of plays that the Blue Jays have capitalized on, and it has helped them to put together those big innings. Multiple run innings.
Two infield hits this inning. Blue Jays have won a season-high 7 straight, and you look at the numbers, and they're pretty impressive, hitting nearly 300 during this stretch. They've scored over 7 runs a game, 10 hits per game, extra base hits and clutch hitting. Everything is clicking for the Jays. Breaking ball. Carrera's behind 1-2.
That's the pitch he wants to use right there to get the strikeout. Now you want to have to shorten it up just a little bit. Pull that ball to the right side. Get him over, get him in with one swing.
Infield is back. They'll trade a run for an out here with nobody out. Another slider fouled on. So why do you play the infield back now and concede a run here early in this game?
I think it's too early in the game, you know, to bring your infield in. And if Carrera would squeeze one through with the infield in, that's going to cost him 2 runs and nobody out. So you concede the run, hope for the ground out or the pop up or the strikeout, something, but you'll concede a run on a ground out.
Mathis blocks the breaking ball. We spoke of Justin Smoak and how productive he's been in just 82 at-bats. Carrera has been equally productive. He's got 11 RBIs in 71 at-bats.
71 at-bats. He's also scored 9 runs. He's got 5 doubles in those 71 at-bats. He has come up with some big hits for the Jays.
Oh, the curveball. Boy, that was a good pitch to hit. He strikes out. That's just the first out of the inning.
Well, you saw that big curveball from Tom Kohler. That's, I think, his bread and butter pitch, and the pitch he'll want to go to get the strikeouts. Let's take a look at the scouting report for the right-hander. The fastball, he throws it 60% of the time, and it's a low 90s type of fastball. There's not a lot of movement on it. It looks pretty straight. From here, there's the curveball 20% of the time, and against the curveball, they're hitting 152 this season. He's also got the slider and the changeup.
Kevin Pillar batting 8th with runners at 2nd and 3rd. Pillar's really got to be selective here, and you can't get too anxious to drive these runs in. The best shot at driving them in is getting a good pitch to hit.
He was telling us that was the problem that he had in the month of May, where he was a little bit too anxious. He started trying to hit a little bit of everything, chasing pitches around the strike zone instead of having a plan going up there.
This is going to reach the seats out of play. I think another thing that Pillar has done very effectively is he's really starting to use the whole field. Pretty good numbers in clutch situations for Pillar. But there are a lot of hits spread out from foul line to foul line. You just can't think about pulling the ball all the time.
Not in this situation. Not against a guy you don't have a lot of history against, Copeland.
Breaking ball hit deep to left. Yelich back, tagging at third is Smoke. He tags, he's coming home. Russell Martin tags and moves over to third. Kevin Pillar with a sacrifice fly cashes that runner in from third.
And I think the approach by Pillar at the plate right there allowed him to get enough of that bat on that ball to get it deep enough to score the run. Not a lot of movement. Shortened it up, slowed things down just a little bit so he could recognize the curveball, kept his hands back, and put a charge into that ball to left field.
That's his second sacrifice fly of the season. That gives him 27 ritters. Now Ryan Goins, the number 9 hitter. Martin at third, 2 down. Tries to bunt and fouls it up.
That one, he looked like he was trying to take it to the right side of the infield. Just trying to get it by the pitcher and then outrun the baseball to first base. Not a bad idea. He's
not at all.
Here.
And now the first baseman, Justin Bour, has shortened up a bit at first and moved toward the foul line. 0-2. Nothing Blue Jays, and their attack has become very diversified. They have a couple of infield hits as part of this 2-run inning. They took advantage of an error.
And another sacrifice fly. That's how they scored the first 2 runs in last night's ball game. They had 2 runs on 2 hits late in that game.
Dan Jennings took over this ball club on the 18th of May, former general manager of the Marlins. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays have won 5 straight games here at Rogers Center. Breaking ball, going strikes out, but the Blue Jays take the lead. They score 2 in the bottom of the second. Russell Martin advancing into scoring position. 2 runs on 3 hits.
Draft. One of our own, Joe Siddle's son, Brett Siddle, was drafted today in the 13th round by the Oakland A's. He was a big first baseman outfielder, went to Canisius Collegiate, and then ended up playing last year, hitting .313 with 9 home runs, 13 doubles, and 43 RBIs. I tell you something, Joe's been with him over the last couple of days waiting to hear his name called, and I cannot imagine what a great feeling that is for a father to find out his son has just been drafted. Buck?
Barry, it's a great thrill. We want to congratulate Joe and Tamara and his entire family. And Brett, way to go, man. That's awesome. And we're rooting for you. And you know that you want to play so badly. It's a great opportunity. The 13th round pick by the A's. That's outstanding.
Congratulations, Joe, Tamara, the whole Siddle family, Brett especially too. I know you're watching. I just spoke to your father by text. So good job. We're really proud of you. Real happy. Good luck, buddy.
Jeff Mathis with a leadoff double. That's the first base runner for the Marlins. Former Blue Jay just back after fracturing a bone in his hand. Mathis starting for just the 4th time. There's a line drive to left. Herrera gets there, and Echeverria has hit in tough luck throughout this whole series.
Yeah, he has hit the ball hard the whole series. He had a double play in yesterday's game where he hit it hard. That time, that was a line drive to left field. Carrera did a good job of keeping his feet moving. Wasn't real sure if that ball was going to carry on him or sink. Stayed right with it to record the first down.
This is the 6th start in left for Carrera. He's made 2 starts in center and 15 in right. Ichiro Suzuki playing in the outfield for the 2nd time in his 3-game series. Throws bunt, takes a strike. It's 1-1. Suzuki has 4,157 hits when you factor in his hits in Japan. Played 9 seasons with the Orioles Blue Wave. Ground ball. Goins is there. Ichiro is out, 2 down. Boy, that's the value of getting the ball on the ground, batting after a leadoff double. If Echeverria advances the base runner Mathis from 2nd to 3rd, Ichiro hits a ground ball. It's a run.
It's 2-1 right here. Now he advances him on that ground ball. Now he's at 3rd base. Told you that D. Gordon's been thinking about bunting sometime. This might be a time. And the corner infield for the Blue Jays have shortened up. They're anticipating some type of bunt. Even the middle infield.
Well, Gordon, a terrific hitter, obviously. He's leading the world in batting average. But boy, if he could add the weapon of a bunt, that would really improve his chances of winning batting titles. That one is past the pitcher, but Goins is there. Gordon is retired. The leadoff double is stranded on base. We'll move to the bottom of the 3rd. 2-0 Jays.
earn rewards fast with the Rogers First Rewards MasterCard. You'll earn 5,000 first-use bonus points redeemable for $50 off your next smartphone upgrade on a 2-year term with no annual fee. Apply today. Buck?
Thank you, Barry. Well, we want to thank those fans for that nice sign. As they had a big group of kids out today. Good afternoon game for the Blue Jays. You know, Joe Siddle, you talk about getting an early Father's Day present. How cool is that? His son Brett drafted. I can remember when my son Casey was drafted. I believe I was in Anaheim doing a game. And we were literally in the middle of the game, and Dan Schulman broke the news to me that he'd been drafted. It's a tremendous feeling.
Oh, I can
a great sense of pride.
That's great.
And we're really happy for the Siddle family. You know, you play this game, and we've heard stories from Chris Colabello, and we've heard guys how disappointing it is not to get drafted. But nowadays, the challenges are there in front of you because you see every name called out on the internet. And it can be tough. Round after round go by, you don't get drafted. But for Brett, it ended early today.
Yeah.
They kind of anticipated they might get drafted today.
During the Blue Jay games, how about that for some mojo? Going right during the Blue Jay games. And Joe was saying today, right now, it's about the opportunity. It's an opportunity for Brett to go about his baseball life now and start a new chapter in his life.
3-0 to Reyes. There's ball 4, a leadoff walk. So Reyes is aboard. Well, you talk about draft day, and Tom Kohler, the starter for the Marlins, he was an 18th round pick out of SUNY Stony Brook State University.
Where do I know that name? I've heard that name before.
They played in the regional tournament, and they got deep into the regional tournament in the College World Series. And in his senior year, Tom Kohler was part of that team. It's kind of a Cinderella team. But it's just like Brett Siddle and Canisius getting into the
regionals?
Into the regionals and the chance to play in that postseason tournament. Reyes at first. Donaldson at the plate. Takes ball 2. You know, you just never know. We talked about this past week about where talent comes from. You know, obviously first-round picks, they have a much better chance of playing in the big leagues. But Tom Kohler was the 538th player picked in his draft in 2008. You just never know who's going to make it. Reyes is picked off. Boy, he was leaning, and Kohler picked his time perfectly as he picks off Reyes to erase that leadoff walk.
He guessed right. 4-pitch walk to Jose Reyes, and then he picked the right time. You see Jose with that flinch. Tries to get back in there where you show him the hand and pull it back, but Moore, the first baseman, wasn't going to have any of that. He aggressively tags him out for the first out.
3-0 to Donaldson. Reyes is perfect 9 for 9. That doesn't go as a caught stealing, but a pickoff. Three and 1 now. Obviously the count is 3-1 after that curveball miss. Donaldson is tied for 3rd in the American League. Nelson Cruz has been stuck on 18 for a while. Mark Teixeira is having a bounce-back season for the Yankees. Albert Pujols homered last night to tie Mickey Mantle, 536th career home run.
A few of those. You know, Donaldson, Josh has had some good years with Oakland. We had an idea that when he would come to this lineup in this ballpark, he was going to put up some monster numbers, power numbers for the Blue Jays, and that's happened. He got out of that giant ballpark in Oakland where the ball doesn't carry, come to a friendlier zone here, and he's putting up big numbers.
That slider for Kohler. Donaldson is the 3rd strikeout victim.
There it is. He's got the curveball and the slider complement. We've seen teams start to throw more sliders to Josh Donaldson. That one's in a good spot down and away.
2 outs. Bautista makes a curveball strike. Jose bounced into a 6-4-3 double play in the first. Kohler is starting to locate his pitches much more effectively. Breaking ball down, the slider missed. You know, you never know where players are going to come from. And we mentioned that Kohler pitched at SUNY Stony Brook on Long Island. There's another great baseball player that came out of Stony Brook. That was Joe Navy. He pitched for SUNY Stony Brook. Breaking ball bounced to short. Echeverria gives ground, throws in time. The inning is over. Reyes got a leadoff walk, but he's picked off first. We'll go to the 4-2 Blue Jays.
Baseball players, and this weekend some former ball players and a Hall of Fame writer will be honored in St. Mary's, Ontario. Saturday, June 13th, the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend. You'll see Carlos Delgado, Felipe Alou, Matt Stairs, Corey Koski, and Bob Elliott all being inducted. Get there early and attend the Baseball Family Street Festival happening in downtown St. Mary's from 9 a.m. till noon. Go to baseballhalloffame.ca for more. Buck?
Barry, it's a great baseball weekend, so make your plans and join all the baseball fans there in St. Mary's, Ontario for a great weekend and the induction ceremonies. And congratulations to all of the inductees in the 2015 class. Scott Copeland making his first big league start.
Never had a chance to go to St. Mary's.
We're always working.
We're always working, but I've heard great things about it.
They do a great job, and certainly it's kind of a little bit like Cooperstown, iconic little town.
That's what everybody says.
Museum there. Ball is bounced to short. Reyes across the diamond in time. Prado's retired. Boy, the teams have really focused on getting that hitter out ahead of Stanton, and now you really got to make sure that you grind on Christian Yelich and try to face Stanton with nobody on.
Yeah, 2 outs and nobody on. So one swing keeps you in the lead.
There's a curveball in there for a strike. Yelich grounded out to second. His first time up. There's a base hit. That's down the left field line. Carrera over to play it and had a shot, but he bobbled it He barehanded it, and had he fielded cleanly, and had a legitimate shot at Yelich. But Yelich has his 4th double of the season.
Yeah, I thought his best way and quickest way would try and grab that ball barehanded off the wall. This ball slapped down the left field line by Yelich, who's starting to heat up. And Carrera, you can see, felt that was the best way to try and get the ball back in quickly, but bobbled it just a little bit. And that allowed Yelich to get into second base. Now you've got first base open.
Giancarlo Stanton goes around on an inside pitch. And that's the one thing, Pat, you've identified. Maybe the approach is to crowd Stanton.
Just so he can't extend those arms out over the plate.
They got away with one out over the plate. Donaldson barehands it and throws it out. Oh, what a play. Well, Donaldson a little more comfortable with his artificial surface than his counterpart, Martin Prado. Prado had one bounce past him, but Donaldson used his bare hand.
Well, first of all, look how far he has to come. He's got to respect that power. And then the ball bounces right up to him, and then an accurate throw across the diamond. Look how far he's got to come for that ball, and it's a true hop for Josh. And it makes a very strong throw on the run.
Donaldson did something very subtle. It's important to make a play like that. As he caught the ball, then he rolled it to get a grip on the seams. There's the first pitch strike.
One more time, they can see it. Here's the true hop. Now he doesn't initially get the good one, the good grip, and now he rolls it, finds the seams, and that'll help you create backspin and carry on that baseball.
2 outs. You've done it a lot. I've done it as a catcher. You just sit with a baseball and flip it up in the air and catch it, and then roll it to get the 4-seam grip before you throw it. And Donaldson had the time to do that. Just roll it and get a good grip to make sure he made a true throw to first.
For hours and hours you would do that.
Martin with a pickoff attempt, and Yelich slides back in. Yeah, it's important for all you kids to think about it. We'll take another look at this pickoff throw.
Set play right there. You can see there's just one little crack where Yelich could get in. Goins had to go down to one knee, and he just left that backside open of the base, and he's able to get in there.
This is pulled to third. That's a fair ball. Another barehanded grab. Oh, my! Who needs a glove? Donaldson with 2 terrific defensive plays at third. This ball is bouncing off the dirt. No problem, Josh. No leather involved.
Style 2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
Josh Donaldson with 2 fine defensive plays. On those bouncing balls to third. He's a complete player. When you start talking about MVPs, he's the type of guy you look for. A guy can beat you many different ways.
Emphasis on player. He's a player.
Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin had that walk-off home run last night. It's the second time this season Blue Jays have had a walk-off home run in a game in which they trail. Josh Donaldson hit a 3-run homer off David Robertson back on the 26th of May for a 1-run win. This ball is hit high and deep to right. Ichiro looking up at the wall and can't make the catch. Encarnacion will stop at second. Boy, Suzuki very uncharacteristically drifted on that ball and never got back to the wall. If he gets to the wall, he's got a chance to catch it.
I think it might have surprised him how far Edwin hit that ball the opposite way. Really not known as a guy who can drive the ball out of right field, although he can. But you're right, Suzuki goes back and now drifts on him. He gets to the wall, thinks he has it, and that's off the fence for extra bases.
He ran into the wall and it surprised him. He was feeling for the fence but never really located it, and we have seen him for years. You go up, find the fence, and then make a move to get to the ball.
Well, the warning track's a little different here than most ballparks.
Forget about this one. Justin Smoke, 9 miles out of here. Number 4 for Justin Smoke, and somehow you got to figure out how to get him in the lineup.
He's got a great glove over there at first base, and he's in a nice groove right now. This guy can hit. He's a switch hitter, and he's got some power. Early in spring training, Brooke Jacoby told him, hey, stop hitting ground balls. You got power in that swing, and there it is right there. A nice finish. You got classic home run swing right there. Number 4 on the season.
Boy, that was a pretty swing. His head stayed down on the ball, and he hits it way into the night. That's a home run swing if I've ever seen one.
Certainly is.
You know, it's interesting you bring that up, that conversation with Brooke Jacoby, and we see this a lot in baseball. It happened to J.J. Hardy when he went to Minnesota. They want him to be a singles hitter. He lost his power stroke when he came up with Milwaukee. He was a home run hitter. Then he went to Baltimore and he said, hey, man, you can hit home runs.
Jim Presley, who was the hitting coach then with Baltimore, said, hey, J.J. Hardy, where's that guy I saw in Milwaukee hitting all those home runs? He was flaring balls the other way and trying to stay inside the ball and serve it the other way. He said, get up there and swing the bat. And he became a 20 home run guy again.
Russell Martin has a base hit and an RBI.
That base hit, that infield hit by Martin, extends his hit streak against the Marlins. He has now hit in 8 straight games against Miami.
This ball is driven to right. Ichiro looking up at this one. It is gone. Russell Martin back-to-back homers. Smoke and Martin.
Blue Jays are hitting up and down the lineup. We talked about that game yesterday, the walk-off home run by Encarnacion, and then you can't wait to get to the ballpark the next day and be with your guys and win, try to win another ball game. It just keeps you relaxed. You keep the energy. A bomb by Smoke, and now Russell takes his turn circling the bases. Watch where this pitch is. Out, away, and up. And there he goes, number 9 on the season for Russell.
It's the second time the Blue Jays have hit back-to-back home runs this season. Bautista and Encarnacion went back-to-back May 14th at Houston. Justin Smoke started it. Russell Martin followed him. Chuck Hernandez, the pitching coach, with a quick visit to the mound. Another 3-run inning for the Blue Jays. Herrera chops it on the ground. 1 down. Boy, oh boy, it doesn't make any difference where you are in this lineup. Last night, with the Blue Jays down by a run in the 9th, it was Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion. This afternoon, you get down in the bottom of the order. Encarnacion hits the double. Smoke hits a homer. Martin hits a homer. It doesn't make any difference where you are in the Blue Jays lineup.
And there's still some pretty good hitters coming up, all to the light of today's starter, Scott Copeland.
Well, Copeland, he's got to be thrilled. He's seen terrific defense at third and a potent offense, and he's pitching in his first big league start. Parr bounces out to short. Lots of good hitters in that picture. Goins hits it on the ground. Echeverria off balance throw, right on the money. The Blue Jays score 3 more runs, a pair of home runs, back-to-back homers for a second time. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
In for Aaron Sanchez. Talked to John Gibbons and Pete Walker about it today. They both said this is not a matter of conserving innings for later on in the year. He simply feels a little bit sore everywhere. They felt it's best to give him these 10 days off to get himself back. It is, after all, going to be a long season. Now, when they made the call for Copeland, they sent Munenori Kawasaki down, meaning they are short one infielder. By Friday, it will either be Ramon Santiago, the guy who broke his collarbone during spring training, or Jonathan Diaz that will be getting the call. They did put Andrew Albers on waivers to make room to bring one of those two back up on the 40-man roster. Buck?
Lots of juggling going on for the Blue Jays as Copeland was summoned to make this start. Scott Copeland drops the curveball in there for a strike to the leadoff man here in the 5th. Justin Boyer, the first baseman. Pretty good changeup. Boy, Copeland looks comfortable, doesn't he?
Yeah, just mixing up his pitches, using his changeup when he has to. This is where Russell Martin really comes in handy. Having a guy who studies hitters' weaknesses. I was talking to him this week, and I was asking him about how the season's going and the pitchers are pitching well. And he says, you know what? I'm understanding the strengths of my pitching staff and how to pitch them. Look at that. That's beautiful. how to find weaknesses in the other hitters, and I'm learning the other league now. And I'll tell you what, he's doing a heck of a job behind that plate. When you can get a guy who's a fastball hitter, just freeze him on this for strike 3, you know he is working behind that plate.
1 down, second strikeout for Copeland. Jeff Mathis has 1 of 2 doubles. He got the first hit against Copeland, leading off to third, but he was stranded. He bunts this ball to third, and it's going to go foul. Mathis saw Donaldson deep at third. Jeff Mathis has been a good backup player for a long time. Came up with the Angels under Mike Scioscia. He certainly is a catch and throw guy, and he's a great leader behind the plate. He broke a bone in his hand taking a foul tip. He's now back. We mentioned this is only his 4th start of the season.
Yeah, just activated last Friday. We got a chance to know him when he was part of the Blue Jay organization. He was one of the players that was sent to Miami in that big trade back in December 2012.
Little looper into left. Carrera coming in quickly and has it go off of his glove. So Mathis is 2 for 2. That ball was sinking fast, and Carrera left his feet. Got a glove on it, but couldn't make the catch.
But he had a chance to run through that one. He was playing deep against Mathis, and it's off the end of the bat. I thought if he just kept running, he catches that ball. I think he had to leave his feet. Watch where his glove is. That's about shoulder high, and just misses it.
So Mathis is 2 for 2. And Danny Echeverria takes strike 1. Echeverria has just 1 hit in the series, but he's hit the ball sharply. Barry mentioned the possibilities of a position player coming up on Friday in Boston, and Ramon Santiago's name was brought up. He was having a good spring when he broke his collarbone. He had played 7 games. He was hitting .417. He was 5 for 12 with a couple of RBIs and had a .462 on base percentage. Wow, that was a long check swing for it not to be a swing.
Another breaking ball from Copeland. Thought he had the strikeout there against Echeverria. He's got the 2nd most hits for shortstops in major leagues this year. He's hitting over 300.
And he strikes out this time on a fastball. 2 strikeouts in the inning, 3 in the game.
You throw him the slow curve, he doesn't get it, so now I'm going to go upstairs. High fastball, and he just can't get to it. That's where Russell Martin comes in. Wow, he's impressive behind the plate.
Ichiro Suzuki grounded out to second base. Well, you made a point about Martin learning his pitching staff, and you have an idea of how to get hitters out. But if your pitchers aren't comfortable executing those pitches, you have to come up with a different approach. Ichiro fouls that ball off his leg. But Russell Martin can have an idea. Okay, I can have Ichiro here, and we'll throw him some curveballs, maybe change him down and away and get him out. Well, if Copeland can't do that, you've got to learn that as a catcher.
What he can and can't do. And Ichiro spent his whole career in the American League, so Russell's had to do his homework against some of these guys.
Martin was fortunate to be a teammate of Ichiro's, but that doesn't help you when you're trying to sit behind him and figure out how to get him out. They were together with the Yankees. 1-2. Line drive hit to center, and that's going to be past Pilar and go all the way to the wall. Mathis is being waved around third. Ichiro is headed for third. Here's the relay from Goins. It is not in time. Suzuki slides into third with his 2nd triple of the season. Mathis scoring all the way from first.
We have seen Ichiro Suzuki do that for years and years and years, haven't we? Drill balls into the gap and with that great speed make it all the way to third base. That was some kind of relay, I thought, right there by Goins. I didn't think he had any shot, but throws a strike to third base, and I think Josh Donaldson's asking them to take a look at this. Did he tag him before he got to the base? It's close.
Well, he did swipe tag him. Ichiro had his right leg extended, and now the Blue Jays have decided not to challenge that call. Maybe if it's a one-run game, you go ahead and use your challenge. Right back to the pitcher. D. Gordon grounds out. The Marlins get on the board. Ichiro with the triple, number 87 in his illustrious career.
You can make a pretty darn good all-star team with the top 4 or 5 batters in the Blue Jays lineup. And if you want to see all of those guys, including Donaldson, Bautista, Encarnacion, and Reyes at the All-Star game, you have to vote at BlueJays.com. The game is Tuesday, July 14th in Cincinnati. Fans are allowed to vote a maximum of 35 times per email address. So unless you want to see the National League take on the Kansas City Royals, which is what it's looking like right now, go and vote for your favorite Blue Jays. Buck?
That's great advice, Barry, and make sure you log on to BlueJays.com and cast your votes for all the deserving Blue Jay players and send some of them to Cincinnati. Leadoff man Jose Reyes, he walked and was picked off in the third. Bounces this foul. Reyes has a 17-game hit streak against the Marlins coming into this game. During that streak, he's got a .346 average. Doing some damage. Of course, he played with the Mets and then signed a free agent contract with Miami. Spent 1 year with Miami. D. Gordon throws him out. Josh Donaldson came to the big leagues with the Oakland A's and played in O.Co Coliseum, and it was a terrible hitter's ballpark. And you look what he did in 2014 at home playing for the Oakland Athletics. He hit just .233, but Pat, what a different story it's been for him here at Rogers Center.
And we all figured when he came to the Blue Jays and play half of his games here at Rogers Center, those offensive numbers are going to go up, and he's put up some very good offensive numbers over the last couple of years, playing half those games in that pitcher's ballpark in Oakland. And he's doing it.
Well, I think here in this ballpark, once you see the ballpark, you know that you don't have to pull everything to hit it out. You don't have to take big swings to have the ball carry well.
You know, I've been impressed with his power to right field. We saw it when he was with the Oakland A's to left field. Not so much at Oakland's ballpark because it's such a pitcher's ballpark. But you also got the ball carries here, and you got smaller foul territory here.
And that has a lot to do with hitters' problems in Oakland. There's so much foul territory that corner infielders and middle infielders, for that matter, they can go into foul ground and catch those high pop-ups. Here, they go right into the seats and out of play. And there's more room here than there is in most ballparks. You think of Baltimore, Boston. You hit a pop-up, it's going to be out of play. So you're going to get another swing. In Oakland, those pop-ups are caught oftentimes. 2-2 to Donaldson. He goes around and the ball's in the dirt. Donaldson strikes out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Gio Gonzalez and Nate Eovaldi are the pitchers in that game. Gio Gonzalez has been pitching well for Washington, and they're going to get some of their pitchers back soon. Yankees are playing good baseball. They've won 7 straight, just like the Blue Jays.
Getting great pitching, especially from their bullpen.
That ball is off the plate outside, and Bautista continues to have that call go against him. You know, there's been an ongoing dialogue around baseball about the strike zone being wider this year. You find that true?
Maybe a little bit. You know, pitches that are just off the plate are now being called strikes. I don't see it up and down so much. The high strike doesn't seem to be getting called a lot. Maybe the ball just off the plate.
There have been a lot of managers that have talked about the strike zone being a little bit wider. Baseball contends that it's the same, and they have all the stats, of course. They have pitch tracks and all of that. So Bautista walks yet again. He's one of just 4 major league batters that have been issued 40 walks or more. And they're all pretty good hitters. Bautista, Goldschmidt, Bryce Harper, and Carlos Santana. Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks.
Power hitters with good eye at the plate, and that just sets the table for Encarnacion. You got to choose who you want to pitch to. You want to pitch to Jose or you want to pitch to Edwin?
That's the advantage the Blue Jays hitter have over most teams in baseball, especially the Marlins. You pitch around Stanton. But you pitch around Bautista, you got to deal with Edwin. Oh, 2. We mentioned the walk-off home run being one of 2 walk-off home runs this season in which the Blue Jays trailed in the 9th, hit a home run to win it. Donaldson hit the other. There's only been one other such home run in the majors. Scott Van Slyke of the Dodgers hit a 3-run home run on May 11th against the Marlins.
Great closers. You get great closers that want to shut you down. That's why that doesn't happen very often.
2 balls, 2 strikes. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Encarnacion strikes out. Blue Jays leave a base runner. We'll go to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. It's brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
to get in front of the TV tonight and watch Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's the Lightning and the Blackhawks. Tampa leading this series 2-1, and Game 4 always one of the most pivotal ones of the series. You can watch it on CBC, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Buck?
Should be a great opportunity to watch that great Stanley Cup Finals. My old partner Jim Houston and Craig Simpson doing that Stanley Cup game tonight. They do a terrific job. That's a changeup. We mentioned Scott Copeland making his first major league start. He last started for Buffalo on the 4th of June. He pitched 5 innings and threw just 64 pitches. His season high in pitches for Buffalo, 91. He has just thrown his 64th pitch here this afternoon.
I'm also looking at, this is third time through the lineup now, so the Marlins are getting a little bit better read on Scott Copeland.
There's a 2-hopper to short. Edwin Encarnacion missed 2 games because of that shoulder. He continues to reach up and touch that shoulder. Watch him running around in the second inning. He went first to third on the smoke double. And then when he gets to third base, he feels that shoulder once again barking at him a bit. And then after this swing here, you can see puts a lot of pressure on that left shoulder when you swing that bat. That's the bottom hand.
We were watching him take batting practice yesterday, and he was hitting everything with 2 hands. He was not releasing that top hand, giving him a little bit more power and a little bit more control. It seems like every time he does release, he's fooled by an off-speed pitch or something like that. He's out in front. He releases that top hand, puts a lot of pressure on that left shoulder.
0-2 inside to Christian Yelich. Well, a shoulder's not going to get healed in a matter of 2 days after a cortisone shot. The cortisone shot, all it does is it calms down the inflammation. And it'll ease the pain a bit, but if there's irritation in that shoulder, it's going to be aggravated every time you swing the bat. Same situation Devin Travis has dealt with ever since being hit in Cleveland with that 1-hopper off the bat of Brandon Moss. 2-2 to Christian Yelich. Or a good changeup. 2 outs. Well, Giancarlo Stanton has hit 3 home runs in this series, and he has 21 for the season. The 20th home run gives him 6 20 home run seasons through age 25. And look at the list of players that have accomplished that same feat. A Hall of Fame list indeed.
Absolutely a Hall of Fame list. Tony Conigliaro would have been on that list, I think. He was the fastest to 100 home runs.
There's a liner into center, and that's going to drop in front of Pilar. But let's go back and look at that list and make note of the names on the list. Alex Rodriguez, of course, one of the best young players that ever came into the game. Tony Conigliaro was a terrific young hitter, and then he got hit in the eye by a pitched ball. But Cepeda, Robinson, Matthews, Mantle, and Ott, all Hall of Famers.
All Hall of Famers. 620 home run seasons through their 825 season, and Giancarlo Stanton is now one of those guys. He is a special player. And we talked about that before this series. Can't wait to watch him take batting practice. Can't wait to watch him in the ball game. Now I can't wait to watch him leave town because he's been swinging a hot bat.
Has he ever? He's had a very good series here at Rogers Center. 2 home runs in yesterday's game, 3 hit night on Friday night, including a home run. He leads the majors in home runs and RBIs. Oh, and 2 to Ozuna. Boy, what a nice start from Scott Copeland. He's been pitching well in AAA Buffalo. He had a 4-1 record. He has been with the Blue Jays 2 different stints this year, but only pitched in the first week of May. This ball is hit to center field. Pilar back. Makes a nice running catch going away from the infield. 6 innings in the book for Scott Copeland, looking for his first big league win. RDX, go beyond utility.
Let's go back to the 4th inning for the Blue Jays. Runner on first base, and Justin Smoke smokes this ball to right field for a home run. His 4th of the season. And then right behind him, Russell Martin steps up, and for the 2nd time this season, the Blue Jays have back-to-back home runs. High fastball, he drills that one over the scoreboard in right field. That put the finishing touches on that 3-run inning for the Blue Jays, and puts in that 5-1 score as we head to the 6th inning.
For the Blue Jays, they have really scored a lot of runs lately. When you think about their ability to have multiple run innings, it's incredible. One of the most potent attacks in all of baseball. And Smoke cuts on the first pitch. Smoke, Martin, and Carrera here in the 6th. You know, we talked about Smoke when he hit the home run, how sometimes you try to make a player something he's not. And Smoke has had a 20 home run season for the Seattle Mariners. He's had seasons of 15, 19, and 20 home runs. And just like with Donaldson, I believe, if Smoke gets regular at bats in this ballpark, he'll hit 20 home runs here at Rockies.
Oh, I think that's there's a real good chance of that. 20, 25 home runs with regular playing time. Then you factor in the defense. You know, you talk about doing stuff that you're not capable of, or bringing out the talent that you have. He's not a guy who hits the ball the other way. He's not going to hit 300, but he's going to give you power. And he's going to give you extra base hits, and he's going to give you good defense.
I always feel like there's a perfect spot for everyone in the majors, and you just never know when it's going to happen. It didn't happen for Jose Bautista until he came here with the Blue Jays. Now it appears as though Josh Donaldson has found a perfect match here with the Blue Jays in this ballpark.
How about Edwin Encarnacion? Texas, nothing. Cincinnati had some seasons where he hit some home runs. Goes to Oakland, nothing. Comes here, it's huge.
And there's a lot of factors that come into it. How about Chris Colabello landing on his feet as a Blue Jays invitee to spring training? And he was probably signed as a AAA player just to give them depth in AAA. There's the strikeout of Smoke. But the number of factors that factor in, your hitting coach, your manager, your playing time, ballparks, all of those different things factor into a player's success.
Hitting coach might say something to you, and they're like, that's right, I never thought of it that way, and all of a sudden the light bulb goes on.
Chris Colabello always talks about it. He says anytime you're playing baseball and you don't strive to get better, you're wasting an opportunity. And you just never know by talking to somebody that's a new teammate, might have a different approach. Pitchers never know when things are going to click.
Pitchers do that all the time, don't they? Hey, how did you hold that grip on that cutter Or how did you hold your curveball? They try it and bam.
Nobody was better at that than Pat Henkin. Hey, show me how you hold your changeup. Martin hits the bouncing ball to second. E. Gordon has it. 2 down.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
It's an overcast day, and there have been some rain showers here in the area. The roof is closed. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead, trying to sweep the Marlins and put together back-to-back series sweeps. Boy, you think about this team, and they're at 500, 30-30. But they were 7 games under 500. And you make up that much ground in a week's worth of time. That's pretty impressive.
And it looked like they were going to go to 8 games under 500. Remember that? Second game in Washington. They were facing Max Scherzer. They were down. They were losing that ball game. Came back and won.
Yeah, after Jordan Zimmerman beat him 2-0 in game 1, and then you got to deal with Max Scherzer. You say, well, this is a good chance to be swept in this doubleheader. Scott Copeland in his first big league start has been impressive. Tom Kohler strikes out Carrera, 3 up, 3 down. The Blue Jays go quietly in their half of the 6th, but they have a commanding 5-1 lead.
The big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone. Today, our guests of TD. Meanwhile, over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, our fans and folks from Camp Bucko. No relation to you, Buck Martinez, right?
Well, you never know. Camp Bucko sounds pretty good to me. Welcome to all of you folks there in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse. Great afternoon. And how about the afternoon for Scott Copeland? 6 innings, 5 hits. He's allowed 1 run and hasn't walked a batter. Copeland making a spot start in the spot of Aaron Sanchez. This is his first major league start, and boy, has he been impressive. Changing speeds, throwing strikes, and he and Russell Martin are clicking.
Yeah, using a little bit of everything. I think his changeup has been pretty impressive, and his breaking ball, throwing it when he's behind in the count.
And one thing we haven't talked about all afternoon, velocity. Mixing pitches up. There's a liner to left, and Carrera will take it about head high.
You know what? I was just thinking that we saw Dan Herron and Mark Burley yesterday, and how impressive both of those starters were. Just mixing their pitches. They were pitching. They were just getting all their pitches over. mixing it up just a little bit, keeping those hitters off balance, and they both pitched great ball games.
Heron allowed 2 runs on 3 hits over 7 innings. He didn't walk a batter and struck out 7. He ends up with a no decision. Yeah, both Heron and Burley, they wouldn't have gotten the ticket on the QEW. Can't accuse them of speed. Jeff Mathis is 2 for 2. Mathis is one of the players I always think about as a potential major league manager. He came up through the Angels system, played in the big leagues with the Angels. He's got a football background. He was going to play football at Florida State, and then he got drafted and signed. Kevin Pillar to his left makes the catch. Mathis is retired. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Now that's a perfect setup right there for a young guy. He's got a nice seat and a big bag of popcorn.
And the Blue Jays are winning the game. Better than that.
Adani Hechavarria. This is more than likely the last inning for Scott Copeland, and what an impressive outing he has had. I know Copeland more than likely headed back to AAA after this start, but he reminds me an awful lot of a fellow in 1985 that came up and had a big impact in the Blue Jays season. Tom Filer.
Tom Filer, didn't he win 7 straight games for the Blue Jays that year?
He won 7 straight games, went 7-0 for the season, and it was just that extra boost, that extra shot in the arm that the Blue Jays got at that time. Echeverria hits one hard to right. That's his first hit of the afternoon. Just the 6th hit for the Marlins.
Just fell behind him, and he had to feed him fastballs right there. He didn't want to walk him. You got a bunch of left-handers coming up now for the Marlins. That's why Aaron Loop is warming up. There's the fastball right down Broadway.
Well, that's a pretty good swing that Echeverria has. He's hitting 300. Ichiro Suzuki hit an RBI triple his last time up. Liam Hendricks and Loop. Loop is ready. He's standing by, going pitch for pitch with Copeland. Copeland now has matched his season high in pitches. That was his 91st pitch. That's the most he threw in any game down in Buffalo.
And right after that pitch, you see Pete Walker on the horn talking to the bullpen. Hey, is he ready?
Well, how about Scott Copeland? He walks off the mound with 7 strong innings in line for his first big league win. What a start for Copeland. Tonight it all starts at 7 Eastern. That's 4 Pacific. The Cubs and the Tigers as they hook up. And the pitching matchup is Jake Arriet and Shane Bieber. You'll see that later on tonight. Scott Copeland making a spot start. Did a terrific job getting handshakes all around. And this is his first big league start, and what a good one. A couple of Texans talking it out right there. John Gibbons congratulating Scott Copeland for a fine effort this afternoon.
Yeah, there's the one that mattered right there from the manager saying, great job, your afternoon is done. He said line for the win.
Pilar pushes it up the first base line. Kohler flips with the glove to Bohr to retire Pilar. Nice play by Kohler.
Boy, if he could have got that ball by him, that was going to be a base hit for Kevin Pilar. First baseman, you see Bohr come in and then recognizes that the pitcher's going to get it, so he goes to first base. And a nice finish on that play as he shovels that ball over to first base.
Yeah, all of these things pitchers will do in their fielding practice just to replicate what might happen in the heat of battle, and he did a nice job. Sometimes that ball will get stuck in the webbing of your glove and you won't flip it as accurately as he did. One out, number 9 hitter is Ryan Goins.
I like this Kohler guy. I've been impressed with him. He has hung in there after he gave up some runs early to the Blue Jays. He's made some good pitches.
Yeah, he's got a lot of movement on his fastball. We saw him early in the game. He was up a little bit too much, and the fastball looked straight. But now he's got it working a little bit more effectively.
Chuck Hernandez went out there to talk to him one time, and it looked like he told him, hey, let's use the breaking ball a little bit more against these power hitters. I tell you, if they get their pitchers healthy for the second half of the season, the Miami Marlins could do some damage.
Jose Fernandez had a rehab start on Saturday at Port Charlotte. He went 5 innings and got up to 99 miles an hour. Excuse me, he went 3 innings through 54 pitches. Matt Latos on Monday in New Orleans on a rehab walked 5 guys. He threw 99 pitches. Jared Cozart is going to have a rehab start tomorrow, Thursday. But when you think about it, Latos, Cozart, and Alvarez, who are all on the disabled list, to this point of the season, they've gone 2-11. And some of their injuries might factor into that.
Yes.
It eventually landed them on a DL, but they weren't particularly good before they went on the DL.
Maybe because they were injured, and so.
But Jose Fernandez, that's a different story.
Yeah.
He's a game changer.
He is a true number one. I don't know if you ever had a chance to watch him pitch when he was healthy. Ooh.
There's a changeup strike. It's running on. Reyes 0 for 2 with a walk so far. He's had a great homestand coming into this game. 8 for 21 on the homestand with 4 RBIs.
He had about 4 líneas that were caught by the infielders. Line drives that could have been hits.
He's got 5 stolen bases in the 5 games. There's a drive deep to right. He's just extended his hit streak. Goodbye home run. Number 2 for Reyes. His hit streak now 18 straight against the Marlins.
He has got extra base pop in that bat. Told you he's been hitting the ball hard. At times he hasn't had a lot to show for it. But that time he can show a home run trot. Jose Reyes gets that run back. It's now 6-1.
3 home runs in the game, and Reyes celebrating. And appropriately so. He's had a great homestand. The Blue Jays lead at 6-1. Kohler out of the game. again this afternoon. Jose Reyes connects on a high fastball, his second home run of the season.
And quickly turns on that pitch that's up. He's got extra bases in that bat, and he is swinging it. A hot one right now, really setting the tone for the Blue Jays at the top of that order. And now he gets to go down that whole line with high fives.
Blue Jays have been doing this a lot lately, trying to make it 8 straight wins. Sam Dyson, the former Blue Jay, in to face Josh Donaldson.
Here are the numbers for Sammy Dyson in 27 games. 3-2, 283 earned run average. He's got a strong arm. Fastball 97, you saw it right there up and in. He was the Blue Jays' 4th-round draft pick in 2010.
Donaldson drills this toward the wall in right center and gone. Josh Donaldson, his 17th. Back-to-back home runs for a second time today.
Last at bat, when Josh Donaldson was hitting, we were talking about him hitting in this ballpark. He can hit the ball out anywhere. Right field, center field, left field, doesn't matter. Well, he shows you how he can just smoke that ball the other way. That was a line drive, probably about 440 feet the other way.
He had terrific sound to the crack of that bat.
4-seam fastball, 1-0. That's a line drive and out of here.
Smoke went back to back with Martin in the 4th, and Reyes and Donaldson have done it here in the 7th.
Ooh, that was loud. And look where it ends up. That's right center field, too.
Hitters love to hear that distinctive crack of the bat. Walk back to the dugout and say, man, I got some sound on that one. Reyes, number 2. Donaldson, number 17. Bautista, he's got 11. Inside. Well, you mentioned Donaldson loves hitting here at Rogers Center. He ranks 1st in the American League in hits at home, home runs at home, RBIs at home, and slugging percentage at home. Bautista. It's a fly ball into center. Ozuna makes the catch. The inning is over, but the Blue Jays do it for a second time. Back-to-back home runs in the 7th. Josh Donaldson loves hitting at Rogers Center, and it doesn't make any difference where he hits them. They all go out.
because he was with his son, who was drafted today by the Oakland A's. What a great Father's Day gift that was. And if you can't give your dad that, how about the next best thing? Take him to a Blue Jays game next Sunday, June 21st. It's the Blue Jays and the Orioles at 1:07. It is Father's Day, so why not bring Pop to the game? Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. Buck, Pat, I can't think of a better Father's Day gift than being drafted into the majors.
Now, that's pretty special, and Joe Siddle and his son Brett will have that memory to share for the rest of their life. I had the same feeling when my son Casey was drafted just before Father's Day. This is Aaron Luke. He's starting the 8th inning in relief of Scott Copeland.
Aaron pitched in last night's ball game, had a 1-2-3 inning in the 8th inning with a strikeout. And now the left-handers coming up. You got Gordon, a left-hander, Yelich, a left-hander. John Gibbons is going to go to his bullpen.
7-1 Blue Jays. The breaking ball, he got underneath it, stayed off the plate inside. The Blue Jays, we talk about their offense, and you see them day in and day out, and you really have to marvel at how consistent they've been. They still haven't had their whole team intact. Justin Smoak with a big game today, starting at first base. Josh Donaldson, another home run. Reyes has had a terrific homestand. Bautista's starting to heat up.
They're getting contributions from players a couple of months ago. Didn't even figure we were going to be on the team at this time. Colabello's been outstanding. Pilar has been really good. Ryan Goins. Guys coming off the bench. I mean, you got your usual suspects, right? Bautista, Encarnacion, Reyes, the everyday guys, Donaldson. But Justin Smoak is having a good year. There's Chris Colabello. He's come up with some big hits. That's what you need when you've got some guys down who are injured.
You know, you say it takes a 25-man roster to win, but in theory it takes probably 35 guys over the course of a year. Going to have guys up and down, guys filling in for injured players.
We saw it today on the mound for the Blue Jays.
Well, how about that? And you talk about a great deal of satisfaction Scott Copeland must feel. He gets a start in the middle of a 7-game win streak. And that has a certain amount of pressure that goes with it. But not only that, it's his first big league start.
Yeah, and it's keep it going, big guy. Don't mess up what we have working here. And he'll probably get sent down. That's all indications are. But you know what he did? He opened up their eyes. Those three guys sitting right there, the manager, the pitching coach, and the bench coach, open their eyes. So if something happens later on in the season, you know who the Blue Jays are going to go to.
Prado bounces it to short. 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Well, Danny Espinosa was concerned about losing playing time when Anthony Rendon came back on the roster, but Espinosa has been swinging the bat so well, he has maintained his spot in the lineup. Christian Yelich.
This was one of the players that Aaron pitched against in yesterday's ball game. Fed him 3 breaking balls and struck him out.
That's a good fastball. 1-2. Because the starters have been so consistent, the relievers have gotten ample rest and they have been effective. Early in the season, they were using 3 and 4 relievers a night. Everybody was working a lot. They got worn down a bit, but now they've had a chance to refuel their tanks, and boy, they're pitching well.
You can read a line them up against guys that you want to, like this lineup right here. 2 lefties, and Luke has a 1-2-3 inning.
Couple of strikeouts for Aaron Loup. Will go to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays with a 7-1 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn.
'16 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
New pitcher for the Marlins is Adam Conley. He's making his major league debut. He comes out of Washington State, same school John Olerud attended. Those are his numbers from AAA in 10 starts.
He was a Marlins second-round draft pick not too long ago, just in 2011. He's got that sinking 2-seamer that he uses to get a lot of ground ball outs. He's got some life on that fastball and a straight change. I mean, he looks like a starter. He's tall and lanky. Now coming out of the bullpen, he just came up here after Brian Morris was put on the disabled list.
Joined the team on Friday, first game of this series. He's going to deal with a pinch hitter. It's the 4th spot in the Blue Jays lineup. It was occupied by Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin went 2 for 3. Scored a couple of runs and looked like he was dealing with some shoulder issues again today, so hopefully that's nothing significant. Gianna Navarro was the catcher in yesterday's game. Navarro was 0 for 3. Caught Mark Burley in that start yesterday. The Blue Jays have scored 7 runs here again this afternoon. They have now scored 325 runs. That's a big number. And to put it in perspective, they have scored 54 more runs than the second team, the New York Yankees. I mean, that's putting up some crooked numbers on a regular basis.
Big time, day in and day out. The only team in Major League Baseball with 300 runs scored already.
Navarro bounces it to Prado. 1 down. Scott Copeland out of Longview, Texas, was drafted by Baltimore out of southern Mississippi, and today was his first big league start, only his 3rd major league appearance, and he was impressive, Pat.
No walks, just 1 earned run against Scott. 92 pitches, and he gave the Blue Jays, John Gibbons, Pete Walker, 7 very strong innings. 4 strikeouts, he pounded that strike zone, used all of his pitches. He was pitching in place of Aaron Sanchez. You see Aaron on the bench.
Sanchez is scheduled to pitch on June 16th, the final game in New York against the Mets. Good day for Justin Smoke. 2-run homer, double, scored 2 runs and driven in 2. Right to the third baseman. 2 down.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY expert sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Jay's shop here at Rogers Center, always very busy, and they have every kind of hat you could imagine. Get a chance to pick out your hat, try it on, see what it looks like. And believe me, they got colored hats, different hats, camo hats, any kind of hat you want. Russell Martin bounces it back to the mound. How about a first inning of work for Adam Connolly? His first big league inning. It takes him just 6 pitches, and he gets the baseball as a souvenir. Brett Cecil.
Sign up at nextissue.ca/baseball and get an extended 60-day free trial. Well, Brett Cecil will come on here in the 9th inning. Guys, over his last 10 outings, he's been fantastic. An ERA of under 1. However, only one of those was a save situation, and that was the first of them back on May the 4th. I talked to him about that today, and he says, you know what, as long as the team's winning, he's more than happy to pitch whenever he can get some outings. However, he would love nothing more than to get into a tight game and get another opportunity to save one. There was an opportunity 2 times ago back on June the 2nd. He was warming up, and then, of course, Justin Smoke doubled in a couple of runs, so by the time he came in, it was no longer a save situation. He said he came off the mound after the game and said, come on, Justin, really? I had a save in my back pocket.
It has been a long time, as you mentioned, Barry. May 4th, the span of 34 games in which the Blue Jays have not had a save opportunity. And fortunately, they are 17-16 in the previous 33 games.
You know,
and again, you get to face Stanton with nobody on.
This is how you want to face him right here. It's not just Brett Cecil. It's been the whole Blue Jays team. I think they only have 6 saves all season long. They have just, when they win, pound guys.
The Blue Jays have had similar streaks in their franchise history. Their longest in 1979. They went 42 games without a save opportunity. But during that stretch, they were 13-28. It hasn't had that negative impact this time around. Stanton with a mighty cut. Stanton is 1 for 3, grounded out twice and single to center. 1-2. Curveball popped back. Stanton leads the majors with 21 home runs and 51 RBIs, but he also leads in strikeouts
with 82 of them. He has not struck out today. He struck out 1 time yesterday, 1 time the day before that.
And that's a fine line between, how many times can you strike out. course, Mike Trout was the MVP last year. He struck out 184 times.
I haven't had a chance to watch them all season long, but it might have something to do with expanding the strike zone, maybe trying to do too much because you're the power hitter in the lineup and you're a run producer, so you start expanding that strike zone a little bit more when guys are on base.
There's a deep drive to center. Pilar's got room in front of the wall. He makes the catch. One down here in the ninth. A relatively quiet afternoon for Giancarlo Stanton, 1 for 4 with a single. Six hits in the 3-game series, including 3 home runs. The Marlins in danger of losing their 11th of their last 16 road games, falling to 12-20 on the road. Marcell Ozuna 0 for 3, trying to extend a personal hit streak. He's got a 10-gamer on the line.
He has been robbed a couple of times. First by Josh Donaldson at third base.
So fly ball to right. Bautista in the corner, and this ball is gone. Ozuna indeed stretches his hit streak to 11 straight in dramatic fashion. A home run here in the ninth.
Down to his last chance. Told you he was robbed by Donaldson at third and then robbed by center fielder Kevin Pillar his last time up on a deep drive. This time he's not going to leave it in doubt. He's got some power. He hit 23 home runs last season. This is number 4 this year. Fastball out and away. You can see that classic inside out swing to hit that ball to right field. He hits it a long way.
This is Jeff Baker pinch hitting for the first baseman, and he grounds out on one pitch. Baker batting for Justin Bour, who had gone 0 for 3. So the Marlins down to their final out. Blue Jays trying to make it 8 straight, sweep back-to-back series here at home. Another great offensive display by the Blue Jays. They've hit 4 home runs in the game. Back-to-back homers twice in this game. Jeff Mathis has had a 2-hit afternoon.
22 runs the Blue Jays have scored in this 3-game series. The Mats are hot right now.
That's the pace they've shown throughout this win streak. 7 runs. So now the Marlins are down to their final strike. 44,106. The 4th largest crowd of the season. Actually, it's the 3rd largest crowd. Great turnout. High fly ball. Bautista and Pilar. And they collide. Bautista makes the catch, and that's the ball game. 8 straight for the Blue Jays. They are a game over 500.
It has been a while since they've been over 500.